My goodness gracious, guys, it's August, so Michigan State football is really in the air. We got Connor Muldowney with us. We're going to get a vibe check on Michigan State football. We have a game of fact or fiction. And then, hey, who are the best 5 highlight reel players for Michigan State? Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, happy football season. Let's just call it football season, right, Connor? I mean, it's August. God, we only have 5 Fridays until our Spartans kick off, and it is becoming as real as it could possibly be. But before getting to that, hey, please rate, review, and subscribe to this here podcast or YouTube channel. And, well, Connor, I guess I'll ask, how are you doing, man? Are we doing okay in your neck of the woods over there?
Are you and I doing okay? That's a different question, but
we'll figure it out. Yeah, right.
We're doing okay over here. It's just brutal heat, just got our power back 2 days ago. So living the dream.
You're hitting your stride then. Yeah. All things are coming up, Connor, right here. I do have to apologize to Connor and also the listeners too, because I know that there are a good faction of listeners, believe it or not, Connor, that actually like when we get together on the air. Unfortunately, the host of this show is the worst bookkeeper in the world. And I saw you at Thy Shadows. And honestly, I thought it's been like a few weeks since we've had you on. You brought it to my attention. It's been, damn near 4 months?
It's been since basketball season.
I'm ashamed.
I haven't ashamed. But yeah. It was pre-NCAA tournament when I had to talk you off the ledge.
That's nice. Okay, God. Okay. We're going to mix it up here because, talking off the ledge before the NCAA tournament, nervy going into March Madness. Never mind the Hall of Fame head coaches there. Never mind we had good guard play going into the tournament. You still feel a tightness in the chest. However, Connor, without fail, every single year before football season, August 1st rolls around, Michigan State could be coming off of an 0-12 season where any of their players go to the transfer portal. Things can be dire in East Lansing, but without fail, Connor, every August 1st, I take a huff of that August air and I'm like 9-3 without a doubt. No question about it. What give us your vibe check right now, Con. Like, how are you feeling about our Spartans going in off of a 5-7 season? Of course, who knows who the quarterback's going to be? We have fresh receivers anyway. There's a lot of question marks, but I can't help but to be optimistic. How about you, man?
I feel like the vibes have been lifted a little bit. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like before the Thy Shadows event, I was just like, whatever. Hopefully we win 6-7 games. 5 is probably in the question. And then you hear Mel Tucker talk about the goal being national championships. This year's team is the most talented team he's had. Players who played last year aren't guaranteed to play this year. And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Not naming names. I don't hate that. Yeah. So I would say the vibes are on the rise, but it would take like a absolute just like first half meltdown against Central Michigan where we're up 3-0 after the first quarter. And I'm just, I'm calling the season over basically. That's what'll bring me back down.
Yeah, without fail, right, by halftime. I mean, unless we're up 28 points against Central, I will be having my doubts. But until then, we got like 30 days until that even happens. So I'm going to soak up all this optimism here that we like to share on Locked On Spartans until then. But no, you are not kidding. And I'm sorry to keep talking about this event, guys, the Thy Shadows before Friday. But I got to say, I was kind of like you, Connor. I go in there, I'm like, 7 wins. Let's go to Jacksonville for a nice bowl game. The Tax Slayer Bowl sounds great right about now. And then Mel Tucker talks, and I was sitting next to Peach for this event. I don't know if you guys know him on Twitter. I go on the Delta app and I type in DTW to Miami flights between December 27th and January 3rd for the Orange Bowl. And I just slide him the phone. I'm like, you want to be added to this reservation right now? Because I'm all in after hearing what Mel Tucker just talked about. It's just, he knows how to captivate a room. That's for sure. And yeah, I have completely exercised all the demons of last year. Like last year's Indiana game, never happened as far as I'm concerned. I'm ready to roll in to this August just with the full head of Spartan steam, Connor.
I'm still hurt about that game. I'm not gonna lie. I still have nightmares. I still wake up in a cold sweat seeing Ben Patton line up for a a chip shot field goal to steal a bowl berth, but sure, we'll just say it's in the past, never happens,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No longer on the roster. I mean, come on. You know what? Let's just get to it right now. Do you want to play this very high-tech game of fact or fiction right now, Connor? Do you just want to get into the first one here?
Do I have to set anything up? Are there props?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm going to explain the game, everyone. Okay, sit down. Everyone get a legal pad out, pen, paper, take notes. I'm going to just say a statement. You got to decide if it's fact or fiction. All right, did we all understand that, or are we ready to go into it right now?
Yes. Are you talking to me, or are we doing it? Everybody's ready. Everybody's ready.
Amongst that speech, Connor, that he had at Thy Shadows, and also, hey, even beforehand at Big Ten Media Days, he referenced this a lot as well. Mel Tucker said that this team is the most talented one he's had at Michigan State in his 4 years in East Lansing. Connor, is he spoon-feeding this fan base with a bunch of shenanigans, or is there actually a lot of fact around that sentiment going into this year, in your opinion?
I think there's a lot of fact around it, but the only difference is, Kenneth Walker, there's no superstar player who could put a team on his back if he needs to. Obviously, the 2021 team was special, but if you look at the depth on that team, we're one Kenneth Walker injury away from being 4-8. Actually, just the season could have been completely different. So I think that every position group is deep and deeper than it's been since he's been here, and probably since 17 when D'Antonio actually still liked recruiting.
Still dabbled. Yeah.
Dabbled in recruiting a little bit. But I think it's definitely the most talented and probably the deepest, but it just depends on if we're going to get some guys to step up, not quite like Kenneth Walker, but if Nathan Carter could be an 800, 900 yard back alongside Berger.
Do you think Berger is one of those players that, he did mention, hey, the guys that played last year, they're not going to play this year. What do you think? I'll pose it like this. What do you think the split on carries is going to be between Berger and Carter going into the season? We still have a full 4-week camp going, ahead before kickoff. But right now, how would you split up the percentages?
I might be super biased because I'm driving the Carter bandwagon a little bit.
Okay.
But I do think I wouldn't be surprised if Berger trots out there as the starter in week 1.
Okay.
Technically the starter, but the carries will probably be early on, maybe 60-40%.
Okay.
Toward Berger. And then I think by the end of the year, Carter's going to be the guy, I think. And that's not a knock on Berger. I just think Carter.
No, right.
I'm so bought into him. Seeing him squat 600 pounds, I'm all right, that's Kenneth Walker. Obviously not, but I'm in.
He just looks like an Avengers character in any workout pic that he ever posts. But that's not to say that Berger's not good, because look, we've been very high on him. If you've heard me talk about Berger here in the offseason, that the last month of his year, I think it was 5.2 yards per carry in every game. And that was with a wasted game at Penn State. I mean, he did nothing at Penn State because, he was battling injury issues, and he still had a fantastic end to his season. So I think it'll be by the time the season ends, 50% of the carries for Carter, 40% Berger, 9% Mangum, and then 1% Jordan Simmons, who I keep forgetting is still around here. I mean, go get him, young man. Hopefully for a great 7th year for him, but I keep forgetting that he's here.
Good for him. He loves the school. He loves Michigan State. He just wants to hang out.
So do I. Yeah, can't knock him.
Mountain State in his way to the end here.
Hey, more power to him. But I want to ask you, what other position group you think has that battle where, starters from last year could be threatened the most here? But of course, I just can't do it simply, Connor. We're going to get you at the other side of this here, because I need to talk to people's ears off about eBay Motors. Gang, you've heard us talk about LinkedIn, eBay Motors yesterday with our chat with Andrew Dennis, which, hey, by the way, go back and listen to that episode if you get a little bored after we are done with this chat. But hey, eBay Motors, for a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, just head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits just right the first time around. Just add your ride to my garage. And hey, you know what? Look for the green check mark to make sure that the part will fit just right, or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts, heavens, that's a lot of parts. You get to choose from all those parts. You'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. So get the right parts at the right fit at the right price on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions. You got that right, Buster. They apply. Now let's get the strapping Connor Muldowney back on the show here. Hey, by the way, you know what? I meant to bring this up at the top of the show, but we go to the event and, over the weekend, I asked my wife, hey, who'd you like talking to the most? Connor, it was you, man. This is how we base all of our guests. I just asked my wife, hey, who should we have on the show? But yeah, congratulations. Go ahead and put that on your mantle. So everyone, Connor is just that nice of a guy, even off camera as well. Now that I've just blown after blowing all that sunshine up your butt, Connor, one position group battle that you are looking forward to the most in fall camp? I mean, obviously quarterback for sure, but like when it comes to starters might be taking I don't want to say a backseat completely, but might have their cutting time played into a little bit. What is it for you for this upcoming fall camp?
I think a lot of people would say like cornerback, just because we don't even know. But I'm going to go a little different route and kind of go with a cop out, because I'm going to say defensive line only because, all the starters could potentially be new this year. Like there could be a new starter at every position. And I think that's the most loaded position group on the team. If you just look at how many guys are there, like the freshman class they brought in, all those guys are going to be really good. And then you got the Toonmies. I don't even want to try to say is
Tumise Adelaide is how we're doing it on this show. That's our best shot until we're corrected. That's a lot of practice with that one. A lot of practice. Yeah.
He's definitely going to be a starter. Chris Bogle's back. He should probably be a starter. I mean, he's good enough to start, I would assume.
I think he's the one lock with like defensive ends. Like I'd be pretty confident that he's going to be on there.
You'd be surprised. I have the preview magazines here. Like Phil Steele has Avery Dunn starting over Chris Bogle.
Wow, over him. Okay, because look, Avery Dunn's fine. Like I thought he came along really well at the end of last year. He certainly got a lot of reps. I mean, God, Lord knows he got all sorts of reps with all the injuries last year. But yeah, I mean, if that's what happens, I don't hate it. But I think I'd lean Bogle a little more.
I'd be shocked if Bogle wasn't the starter, I think.
Yeah.
And then you got like Van Sumeren, who's still like, I'm waiting for him to be like that guy. Like you live up to that ranking. But I mean, he's still young. He could still do that this year. But he's got a loaded defensive line room to fight with.
I know. Yeah, which is good. It's a good problem to have, right?
Well, I think that's the group that I think the guys who we might have seen a lot last year, kind of like the Maverick Hansons or the maybe even Avery Dunn doesn't see as much action, Zion Young, I don't know. But I think we're going to see a lot of new contributors there.
And I'm going to go with like cornerbacks just because that's a popular answer. Is it boring? Is it lazy? Sure, but I think it just might be the correct answer. I mean, look, it's not like we have iron forged, samples to look back on of like, oh, this is great. Like, sure, Brantley, fine player. Marquis Lowry, fine player, but like a lot of injury issues with those two guys as well. So who's behind them? Is it like the Smar Melvin, Terry Roberts guys from Wisconsin and Iowa? Or hey, I mean, is Chance Rucker really that guy? A guy who was rated 4 stars? I mean, yeah, he's a true freshman, but
Foley too.
That's yep. I've been hearing some good buzz around him. So like that is what, like, obviously quarterback is number one. All right, who's going to be trotting out starting quarterback? But I think when the defense takes the field, that's 100% where my eyes are going to go first in week one. Is just all right. Who's on the ends here? Like who's on the outside playing corner? Because that position is up for grabs, Connor. I don't know if you knew that or not. I don't know if the fans of Michigan State football have caught on to that the last few years, but vulnerable position group as far as playing time goes for anyone there. I mean,
first time I'm hearing of this, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad you're sitting down for that one. Yeah, I know that's jarring news that is really going to send waves across the Spartan fan base here. Let's get back to the game that I completely abandoned after just one thing. Fact or fiction, Connor? Hopefully we all remember the rules here. Now, this is very ambitious from Mel Tucker. He did talk about, yes, he wants to bring a national championship to Michigan State. Of course, everyone wants to bring a national championship to every program. So fact or fiction, Connor, Mel Tucker can bring a national championship caliber team to East Lansing by the time his contract runs out. We'll call that contract running out in like 2072 at this point. Like, no, let's just call it by like 2030, like just for sake of conversation. Like by 2030, can Mel Tucker have a championship caliber team in East Lansing?
Well, for a while, that was a pinned tweet on my burner account.
Okay.
Propaganda. That's a joke. Please don't run with that. It's I've cut that. See, please cut that.
Small following on the burner account too. Very small following.
Yes, totally the same person. You know, everything matches up. I think. I mean, if he keeps recruiting at the level he is, like if he brings in right now, we're getting what, top 25 classes. I want to see like if he can start getting top 20, top 15 consistently. I have no doubt that the roster can contend at a high level, especially with the playoff expanding. I mean,
right.
Anything could happen if you have one of the most talented teams in the Big Ten. You know, Big Ten's probably going to be potentially like there's rumors about all these new additions coming.
Yeah.
So if they do add those and State's one of the best of all those teams, yeah, I think they could. But a lot of that has to do with like, I'm not so sure that he still has the right coaches around him. And that's my caveat. I think that he can get a team that could contend for playoff spots and championships, but I'm not sure that the coaching staff is it.
I think the expanded playoff helps, right? Because there's been a lot of discussion about that, not just with Michigan State, but nationally. Like, okay, does the 12-team playoff, does it help more teams? Or is it still just going to be like the same 3 or 4 teams over and over and over again, landing these mega classes, you know, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Ohio States of the world? Or like, will this 12-team playoff actually help things? And of course, unfortunately, that's a wait and see thing. But I think it only helps, like, especially teams like Michigan State that are like kind of in the middle. And you know, hey, this is crazy. Get ready for this one. But the leap from where MSU right now to a top 4 team in the nation is a lot bigger than like where MSU is to like a top 12 team in the nation. Like 12 is meaning that you are 10-2. Hey, has Michigan State gone 10-2 recently? I don't know. I'm very horrible with memory, but like it is there for the taking. And yes, it can happen in one-off years, but that's how you get positive momentum going. I mean, it's like the high-end bowl games like don't mean anything anymore. So now these high-end bowl games are just going to be, well, playoff games. So that's going to help here. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that, like, it is a way to go from, like, where Michigan State's at to, like, where Georgia is. Like, that. I mean, they have a better roster in Athens, Georgia than the Texans will have this year in Houston. Like, it is insane the level that they are recruiting at. But, I mean, you got to keep chopping away at it. Like, okay, top 25 classes. And then, okay, good year, top 20 class, and top 15. Like, you got to work your way up there. And he's a good recruiter. Like he highlighted too at Thy Shadows. Like he got a really good top 25 class coming off of 5-7 season. Like if they can get a good year coming up this year where they go like 8-4, 9-3, like the August era is suggesting to me, like maybe we can start having a realistic conversation about that by like 2025 when the Big Ten has 28 teams. And you know, it's right.
I completely agree with that. Like I think even if he goes like 7-5 this year, gets an 8th win in a bowl game, like just showing that you can get to 8 wins with probably top 3 hardest schedule in the country. Recruits are going to start flocking. And he did that. I mean, after 11-2, he was getting all that recruiting momentum. 5-7 still gets top 25 class, like you said. You know, win 8 games this year, win 10 games next year. I don't know. I think I'm probably blowing so much sunshine right now. It's August almost. I'm excited for football. So disregard what I've said.
Yeah, again, like when we're down 17-14 going into halftime against Central, like this is all null and void. But no, until then, I don't know. Like it's a crazy pie in the sky thing, especially for a team coming off a 5-7 season. But he's gonna be here for a while, so that helps, right? I mean that contract comes with a big buyout, so like this is a marriage that we are going to be in for better or for worse. And I don't know. I'm starting to come around to the better side of things right now. Oddly enough.
I'm buying it. I'm all in.
Check in like 5 or 6 weeks, but yeah, I mean, we'll see here. There's just one more I want to get to, Connor, before we hit to a mailbag question here about highlight players at Michigan State here. Fact or fiction, Connor, the Black Jerseys should make their debut week 1 under the lights against Central Michigan. Where are you at with that one right there?
First off, disregard the dog going absolutely insane at the front door.
The Spartan dog. The Spartan
dog.
Yeah. Right.
Just there's a mailman at the door. It's just absolute chaos here.
Hey, getting ready for kickoff. I love it. That's relentless tenacity from the dog.
My mind was just in a million. Okay, so the question was, should they debut the jersey Central Michigan week? Is that what you're asking?
That's the one. Yep, and that's your dog too. If you don't mind, let's get their thoughts as well.
No, of course, she stops answering my question.
Stunned silent. Wow. Okay.
I would say if it's under the lights, you kind of have to, right? You kind of have to do that.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah.
But like, I get the whole like, let's wait until there's a big game like Washington but Washington's on Peacock. It's like how many people past the age of 62 are actually going to watch that game that aren't at the stadium?
6, 7, maybe
7 on accident, maybe probably
8.
Probably accidentally. But I mean, the Michigan game was like my first thought when they unveiled the uniforms. But then they were like, these aren't alternates; these are regular rotation jerseys.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so like, yeah, you could throw them in like the Central Michigan game, a night game, black jerseys, first game of the season. The hype is like steadily going up. Under the lights, I think you have to.
Yeah.
I'm with
I think so too. Just because like you want a good first impression of these jerseys, right? Like you can't have this be that. Oh God, what I think it was 2014 MSU basketball had these ridiculous urine colored bronze jerseys, and they went out and lost to, I think it was Georgetown immediately, and you never saw those jerseys ever again. Like if they won that game, maybe you get one more spin with those, but like they were just soiled immediately.
I kind of like those. That's a hot take. I kind of like those.
Oh, that's disgusting, Connor. What the hell? Okay, well, I'm just going to act like I didn't even
listen,
hear
you're going to hate me for this, too. I wasn't a big fan of the bronze helmets in the pro combats.
Oh, my God. This is the most offensive thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. I think they could have done a better job. Not that they were terrible or anything.
Oh.
I actually own a jersey, a pro combat jersey. I just think that it was like the execution was like so all over the place. But go on. Sorry. So sorry.
I don't know if I can go on. I think I lost my train of thought. Anyway, look, I'm not calling Central an automatic win game. Should you win that game 100%, we're going to have a completely different dialogue way beyond jerseys if that game goes south on September 1st. But the hype is going to be at a fever pitch. It is a night game. Like I do feel like you have to unveil the All Blacks, the shadow jerseys, if you will. I think that's what they're calling them for week 1. So I think I'm going to go fact there. I think it does have to be All Blacks in week 1 because I also think waiting for the Michigan game, sure, that's a night game, but like that's a while to wait to unveil these cool jerseys. I think you want to pop these things out, when hype is at a fever pitch, and hey, more times than not for a lot of programs, that's week 1. So yeah, I'm just going to go with, roll them out September 1st. Why not? Connor, are you ready to dive headfirst into
we're down 3 points in the first half?
And then we'll switch the jerseys to something else in the second half. The bronze the bronze basketball jerseys. They'll get those.
Just forget I said that. Like Men in Black Flash, nothing to see here.
I unfortunately cannot do that. Hey, we can go to the mailbag though because Mark hits us up at lockedonspartans@gmail.net. Oh no, Sparty has been kidnapped, and the only way to bring the big fella home safe and sound is for MSU football to show up on the SportsCenter top 10 plays. Love this question. Which 5 past players would you bring back to ensure the ultimate electrifying highlight reel? Connor, let's just go one at a time. I got my 5 guys written down in front of me. I got some honorable mentions, but who's batting first for you here? And your dog. And the dog.
Just insane. Like just an absolute bloodbath of barks here.
Your dog wants Zeke. That's been completely understood.
Honestly, not a bad pick by the dog.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
If I'm going number 1, this is like all time, right?
Yeah, all time. Yeah, I went a little more recent, like D'Antonio era, but it can be all time. Yeah.
Okay. I think no offense to defensive players or anything, but I just don't see how they factor into this list because, like, when was the last time you saw a crazy defensive highlight that wasn't like a targeting?
I got one, but I'll wait.
It's Demata Pekka. Anyways.
It's not, but that's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah.
My number 1 would have to be, and I know he's on your list, Kenneth Walker. Obviously,
he's right. Yeah. Yep. Easy as that. Do we need to go into explanation? Do we need to explain
No.
our reasoning there? No. Okay. You think everyone understands that one? That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, Connor, I'm gonna rock your socks off right here. You ready for this one? Kenneth Walker's my number 1 right there. I'm just gonna go ahead and hijack and go right to number 2 because my number 2, I did want to be cute and sneak a defensive player on here, so I did for number 2, and that is a man who at one point in his season had more touchdowns himself than the offense did. That is Shalik Calhoun. I mean, whether it's, burning the edge, getting to the quarterback, that's great. That's awesome. But yeah, like he had 2 touchdowns, or was it 3 touchdowns like in the first few weeks of the Rose Bowl season? So I'm going to go with Shalik Calhoun for my number 2. Who's batting second for you over there?
Believe it or not, I was thinking about defense players, like which defensive players were actually exciting and had highlights. Calhoun was one of 2 guys that I had. There's Calhoun and then Darquez.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean,
can't argue that.
But no offense, defense players, you won't be on my list from this point forward.
They understand.
Yeah, they get it. Number 2 would have to be. I have literally 10 names written down here, and I'm trying to cut some off. I would say 2 is probably Le'Veon.
Okay. Yeah, that's hard to argue. Yeah. My list is getting trimmed big time. Saying that there's a very famous photo of him jumping over a player against Boise State. I'm gonna have a hard time believing anyone needs an explanation on that. But yeah, I mean, just that season where he had 800 carries by the time October even ended. It was, sample size alone, he's going to get some highlight reels off there. That was my number 3, Le'Veon Bell, as well, for everything that was said right there. God, what a workhorse. I feel so bad for his legs at the end of that year, but had a solid NFL career. Wasn't all too bad for him. Who's your number 3, Mr. Muldowney?
I see. I didn't number any of these. I just wrote names, and there's 5
Perfect.
marks. 3.
Love it.
3. I'm going to go. We'll go recent. We'll go more recent. I'm going to say Aaron Burbridge.
I thought for sure that would be one on my list that you wouldn't have. Dang, I love Aaron Burbridge more than life itself. He's one of my all-time favorite Spartans. So yeah, gotta go. Burbridge. Yeah. Oh, he was amazing. The spin moves against Air Force. Oh, please come on.
And the one against Penn State. I don't think people realize how talented he was.
He was just a delight to watch. Okay, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna do something that's very sacrilegious to me. I'm gonna knock Aaron Burbridge off my list then. Fine. Just because I'm sick of repeating over and over again. Felton Davis. He is going to be on my list. Oh, he is on your list?
Well, I mean, he's up with one of the 10 people, yeah.
See there, all you had to do was just look at Lewerke, put the number 1 up, hey, I will in fact be open this play right here, and then he came down with the ball damn near every time. I mean, he saved us not only at Happy Valley against Penn State, but very underrated game, the Utah State game that same year where he basically saved us at the end of that one, which I got to say would not have been a horrible loss. I mean, Jordan Love was the quarterback. I think the Aggies did win 10 games that year, if I'm not mistaken, but oh boy, that would have been a vibe shredder to start the season had Felton Davis not come to the rescue in week 1 that year.
I would have loved to see your live reaction to that game because I just know that you were a mess.
I comfortably lost 3 years at the end of my life that game. And then he had the diving catch inside the red zone. And I was okay, the kids are going to be okay. Felton Davis is rescuing this program himself. So thank you to our Lord and Savior, Felton Davis.
Patented season opening Mark D'Antonio play down to your terrible opponent type of game. He loved those.
I hated them with every fiber of my being. That's why the hairline is so scaled back, is because week 1 in the Mark D'Antonio era every single year, man. It's just
I feel that.
I'm trying to end on good notes here. How many more do you have? I can't even count to 5.
I can just name everybody that I had. That has.
Yeah, you know what? Go for it. Yeah, just unload the arsenal. Let's go.
I don't have to.
No, do it, please. Air this place out, Connor. Let's go.
Listen to this one. This one's a way back. You probably wouldn't think of this one. DeAndre Cobb.
You're right. I would not have. You are bang on. I would not have. That is a great one.
Electric. Keyshawn Martin, Jaden Reed,
sure,
Charles Rogers, and
sure. That's my 5th one.
Quarterback in there just because Connor Cook.
Okay, yeah, I feel like you need a QB just somewhere on there. I mean, but no, to round out my team, Charles Rogers was going to be it. Now, did it bring me joy to leave Jaden Reed on the bench on the outside looking in? No, it did not. And also, everyone turn your speakers down right now. I thought of Keon Coleman too.
I did too. It hurts.
But like, again, trying to keep the attitude up here. We're trying to keep the morale positive. So no, you could go.
Happy for him. He's made it out.
Yeah. His 2-year sentence is over. It's all smiles over there for him. But yeah, so Jaden Reed was like the outside looking in for me because I can't do this without Charles Rogers. I mean, I know he played more than 2 decades ago, but yeah, like he has to.
The old heads are gonna get after us for not saying guys like Lorenzo
Smith
White or like
sure, yeah,
Irvin. But like honestly, we're just babies,
Yeah, and we're blessed with that many exciting players at Michigan State. How about that for a positive spin zone? Yeah, that's right. Hey, that's how we're going to take it home, Connor. Connor, it is not going to be 5 months until the next time we have you on. I feel like I should just write on the wall in front of me, message Connor, just so I have like a constant reminder to make sure that this doesn't happen. I'm very sorry, Connor. I'm genuinely embarrassed. it was that long. So thanks a lot for agreeing to come back on, though.
I haven't lost sleep. It's fine.
No, I didn't sleep all over the weekend after I realized it. Like, oh my God, before the tournament, Jesus heavens to Betsy. But Connor, where can the folks find you and your work? Go ahead and just plug anything that you've ever wanted to in your entire life.
You can find me on Twitter at Connor Muldowney, as you can see.
At Odell Brenham Jr. Yeah, okay, nice, good.
Don't find me. Actually, if you follow Odell Brenham Jr., just throw me a follow on my personal account.
Yeah. Sure, both accounts. Yep, perfect. Okay, good.
SpartanShadows.com is where I do most of my Michigan State content, and
right on.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Just always slaving over a hot keyboard, just bringing the content gold to the Michigan State fan base. Connor, thanks a lot, my man. And also, hey, for anyone that watched, anyone that listened, I love you guys. I mean, we are going to do this. You best believe it, 5 days a week leading up to kickoff, and after that, maybe even 6 days a week. I don't know. We have got so much MSU content coming for you later this week. You know where to find us, Locked on Spartans. God, what a hoot and a half this was, Connor. Thanks a lot, man. And everyone else, love you all. Go Green.
Go White.